So let's start here. So I like to, I like to start with a quote from Dr. Henrika McCoy, a recently published article, published February last month. And here's what it says. Because I am in the field of social work, a narrative is promulgated that we are all working towards the same goals of social justice, eliminating racism, or more recently, being anti-racist, and acknowledging that Black lives matter. There is an attitude held by many that because their chosen career path is as a social worker, they are automatically afforded an "I'm not racist" card that can be invoked at will if their racist behaviors are pointed out. After all, they are committing their lives to social work. It also means that when they use a tone or an attitude with you that will be clearly categorized as indicative of white supremacist attitudes, were it any other white person with a Black person, it should not count. They think their career aspirations magically erase the privilege and power they are afforded at birth and benefit from every day. It also erases any dismissive, disrespectful, and paternalistic attitudes they use towards you as a Black woman and a professor. That is where we're starting right now with this conversation. So now that I have introduced you a little bit to what we're going to be talking about today, let's continue with this talk. So let me give you a little bit of an outline on what we're going to talk about today. We're going to, of course, start with an introduction. I'm going to introduce who I am because I sometimes just jump in, but I want to start with telling you who I am, where I come from. Then we're going to go on to a little bit of research. I'm not going to go deep into it today. I'm going to mostly focus on number 3, my personal narrative. And then we're going to talk about supports and then end with some questions and answers. That's our journey for today. So, what will you gain from today? Are you able to see that today? Just want to make sure you're able to see. Okay. What will you gain from today? You will gain insight into the representation of Black women in doctoral programs and personal consequences faced while in doctoral programs at HWIs. Now, my partner and I have had this conversation before where we don't say PWIs because that would erase the history, erase that these are things that have existed for a very long time. And so we refer to them as historically white institutions. Number 2, an examination of how the social, psychological, and physical consequences of social activism affected the academic journey of me, one Black female PhD student at a HWI. And then last, we'll end with an identification of micro, meso, and macro level sources of support and resilience for Black doctoral level students seeking to promote racial justice and equity within their academic programs.